Welcome to Tush Twins, heard exclusively on MalcolmPresents.com, a streaming platform heard around the world and beyond. Welcome,
Beyond.
guys.
Hello. More
Hello,
importantly, we're the Tush twins and like literally don't mess with us, please.
twins.
Because if you mess with us, you will get kicked in the tush. That's how that works. Boom. Boom, boom, boom. Uh so anyway, I'm in New York and the redhead's in New Jersey. And
I'm in New Jersey.
New Jersey.
You always
Uh
New
and
Jersey.
Oh, and just quickly, yesterday I was flipping through a channel because I didn't want to listen to I don't want to see anything with a certain person on. And I flipped and my ear is trained to hear a certain song in my life.
Me too.
Okay. So I'm flipping through and there's a commercial and they played The Lion Sleeps Tonight. A clip. When I'm telling you, I heard like all I heard was that's all I heard.
Yeah, that's what you need
So
to
So
you
I
hear.
need to
go,
hear.
I go through. Les goes back. He goes, "Let me see." With the VCR, whatever the heck it is, and sure enough, Walmart has a national commercial now using the Lion Sleeps Tonight. National.
Are we getting money?
I know the performance they're getting, but the other stuff we should have been getting, but I won't go
Yeah.
into that.
Yeah,
No,
Anyway,
we will not.
so make no mistake, the lion's awake.
the
That's
line.
all. So, Malcolm, how are you? You're in LA, and
Uh,
LA is unfortunately it's burning, man. Uh,
I'm
how are
nervous.
you? How are
I'm
you?
nervous.
You're nervous. Why?
Why? Because my bags are packed. I have,
Oh,
Bags are
bags are
packed.
packed.
I'm
yeah.
ready to
Now,
go.
okay.
We took all my pictures, memorabilia. Uh, took it out of the albums that we have and put it, in piles and put it in a bag. That will go with us because that's irreplaceable.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I had 30 years of the kids growing up.
Mm-hmm.
Then conversely, I have 50 years of my life before that in pictures. I have my bar mitzvah pictures.
Wow. Yeah, sure. I mean,
And that's a little while ago. And you're always getting little things on the phone, be ready to leave, be ready to evacuate. Don't
that's
evacuate yet. And the,
that's very nerve-wracking to say the
and
least.
the areas about I would say 5 to 10 miles away that have been evacuated.
Sure. Yeah.
And a matter 2 blocks away where there's a park is a evacuation center where if you want to, the people from Encino or up in the hills, they could come down if they had to evacuate.
Right, right.
And
That's a scary situation. I
and
mean,
and and the winds are going well, the top winds I think were like 70 to 90 miles an hour. That's when it started on Tuesday and Wednesday of last week.
I heard they hit 100.
Well, they
Yeah.
might
I don't
have
know how accurate it is, but they kept using the word 100-mile-an-hour winds. That's
it,
That's
hurricane
hurricane.
force. Yeah.
That's in
it
your
could have
side of the
been.
country, cyclone force.
Yeah, because one spark goes from the fire and it can travel, 5 miles.
Yep. That's the problem. It's the
And,
embers that go flying, and
yeah,
they still are not sure what started this fire.
no,
Uh, Obviously, 100-mile-an-hour winds. Obviously, humidity that's 8% because it's the desert. Obviously,
and it hasn't rained here.
and there's no,
Since July.
Yeah, January is supposed to be the wettest month. We've had no rain.
right, right. It's supposed to
I think since
be,
July, it's no rain. We're like point whatever it
I
is.
think it's 0.5, 0.5 or something. It's like not even half an inch.
And so it's dry and all this is fuel for the fire, all this wood there.
Well, yeah, you do have to maintain. I mean, there's going to be a lot of conversation about what has gone wrong. And
A lot.
this has been decades in the
Yeah.
making. People
Yeah.
are not thinking that climate is changing. They're not thinking that this could happen. And they're not protecting themselves. The government is not protecting us. No one is doing what they're supposed to be adapting to this problem. And that's the problem. And I've
Yeah,
been preaching this. I've been preaching this, you guys know, since
yeah.
2006 when I was at Air America on Green America show. That's how far back it goes that I've been telling people, including when I used to tell my brothers, hey, they want me to move out there. Earthquake.
No,
And then I'd go jokingly and not jokingly, LA's gonna burn. This was 25, 30 years ago. Well, ladies and gentlemen,
Here we are.
children of all ages.
here we are.
But
Here we are.
So
the thing is like there's no control because we have all the firemen out there doing great
it
jobs
they can't
24/7.
they
They
can't
can't keep up.
it's impossible to keep up when you have this scenario of 100-mile-an-hour winds and a low humidity and embers are just going everywhere. They have thousands of firemen, including people coming in from Mexico,
Mexico and Canada.
And Canada and
And,
Ukraine and South Africa,
oh,
I'm
they're letting
told.
the people from Mexico in?
Oh, right, they're letting him in. I don't know for how long, because then he might throw them out on Monday. I don't know.
Well,
Uh,
they may not want to stay.
I
well,
don't blame them.
I mean,
But the
it's
thing is, you
it's
feel like,
funny and it's not, all at the same
but
time.
living here, you feel helpless because you look at your house and you realize that everything that we have here could be gone.
Mhm.
But they let them build on the firewalls,
Fire
the
line, yeah.
fire lines.
Oh
They
yeah,
let them build. They should not have built on that.
that's some of them. Some of them are not, and
I know.
but everything here is wooded. You go around
Yeah.
to my house, there are trees all over. It's not like living in Manhattan.
So now some of the houses that have remained were
Hmm.
built with with in mind fire protections.
Hmm.
And so what should happen as they go forward in building is they need to do the same thing.
Yeah.
They
They
need to
need to build brick.
build with materials
Bill.
that will lessen the
Yeah.
amount, of
Well,
fire.
supposedly in my complex over here, they have shingles that have been treated. They are
Mhm.
fireproof.
Right. There's
Because,
this,
so hopefully if the sparks come on the shingles, it won't catch fire.
right. I mean,
Hopefully.
Hopefully.
well,
But, but
so question. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to we wanted to talk about California,
we're talking about it.
which is suffering now, but we also wanted to like talk about, the redhead here moved out there for a little bit, and Malcolm, you moved out there. So the question I'm going to ask both of you, answering separately, whoever wants to go first, raise your hand. I'm going to
Malcolm,
go
go
with
ahead.
Malcolm. You
Uh,
since you've been living there,
And
how
then
long?
Yeah, this past New Year's Day was 48 years.
Okay.
wow.
So
I
what brought you to LA? Why did you move from New York
okay,
and
it was
and
simple. I was living
disown us here?
I was living in Manhattan, and
Yeah.
about for the past 6 months, the beginning of '76, I was working the advertising and film business, and it was like slow. So I was like taking part-time jobs here and there, and I wound up taking a job as a teaching English as a second language,
Oh, okay.
which was fine, but it was not what I wanted to do. Uh, in My lease was coming up on my apartment in Manhattan, and there you had to sign a 2-year lease, so it's a 2-year commitment. And
Right.
they uphold and they if you didn't, they held you to it, and they could sue you for the back rent.
Hmm,
And at the
I
time,
fun.
remember those days.
and at the time, a lady I was going out with for about 6 months or a year before had moved to California,
Oh, don't tell me
and
it was a
It was
lady. A
yeah, yeah.
lady.
No, so we had
Sorry, Malcolm.
but anyway,
I use the word laid as a double entendre.
yeah.
I don't know. Okay.
But we had yeah, we'd been speaking for the entire time that she was away, and she said, I was telling her, well, I have to sign a lease. I don't want to sign a lease. I'm still looking for work here. And she said, well, why don't you come out here? I have extra room. You could stay with me in my apartment till you get your own.
So that's it.
That's it. So
It was a
I,
lady.
so I packed my bags. I came out
Lady.
and
Wow.
I stayed at her apartment for about 2 months till I found my own apartment.
And now your
Mhm.
blood is so thin that if it's 55 degrees, you're cold.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Not
Not
me.
not us. So,
No,
not
it's 60 degrees now and I'm cold.
yeah, what's why you wearing a
Oh,
sweatshirt,
60
dude?
degrees. I have shorts on and a
She,
Right.
tank
she'd be
top.
she'd be sweating.
And
So,
but by the way, everybody, if you notice that my key light went out, so now I'm more in the shade.
yeah, I see. It's okay. As long as
You
there's no
still look,
fire in
No,
nearby,
no,
we're
it's
all
I
right.
mean, right now, you look outside, you walk outside, the sun is out, it's about 65 degrees. It's nice. There's no really wind coming. And but we're supposed to be on alert
Hmm.
because the
Yeah.
winds might come back any minute.
Yeah, anything could shift in seconds actually. So
And
you
the
gotta be
firemen are out
prepared
there
to.
digging ditches, trying to,
try
protect.
the
Uh,
homes.
they're fires that are smoldering now. And the thing is, it's not one fire. It's all over Southern California.
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
mean,
It's like
and
every other day there's another fire
right now,
somewhere that's small, but yeah, it's
there's nothing small anymore.
yeah, that's
Anything that's small, you have to take care of immediately.
And they're
well,
saying it's 11% contained. That's
Yeah, that's
nothing.
no.
yeah.
And the smoldering and you can't imagine the area, the wideness of it, how much
But the
land it's
air
taken.
yeah, it's bad. The air quality's bad also.
No,
So
actually, the air quality. Anna went out running today. The
oh
air quality is supposed to be
no.
not bad.
Oh,
Not the oh I didn't see that, but maybe
but maybe
today
in your
maybe the
area.
wind
Yeah,
maybe you where you are, but there's I
in
mean
Sherman Oaks.
Sherman Oaks. Let's hear it for Sherman.
Sherman. Oh,
Just
Sherman.
well, let's bring it on to our my Tush one
But
here.
that's what that. But that anyway. That's why I came out to California.
Okay.
And 48 years later, I'm still here.
And running from the fires. All right. Hopefully everything will be fine and
And this is
we'll
but actually, this is the first time
right.
that something this major has happened while I was here. We did have a fairly major earthquake. I think it was
In the 90s,
90s.
90.
We
94.
came
That
out
was
the
that
day
was the
after.
yeah, that was the Northridge
So
quake, and we were there 2 days
we were
later
there.
Huh.
and
Hmm.
feeling aftershocks and going, "What the hell?"
5.1, 5.3.
Right, right.
And
Getting up
every
in the middle
time
of
it
the
would hit,
night.
Right.
I would run to the
Mm,
bathroom to pee.
yeah, I would run outside. The big thing was, take what you need and leave or go
Yeah,
outside. And
leave what you take.
I was staying with Noah, Les and I,
Yes,
and he.
I was
Right,
there.
right, right. And remember,
Noah and
and
Josh.
no, it was just Noah. Josh wasn't there at the time when I was there. I don't know where
Oh.
he was. He could have been in South Korea for all I remember.
Oh,
But but but
I was
no,
sleeping on the floor. You stayed in his bedroom.
no, I was on couches or something.
I was on the floor.
I was on couches. We were all
Yeah, that's
together.
because you were drunk.
Yeah, no. But then
No,
there was a rumble in the middle of the night
night.
and it went vertical. And then we all got up, things were falling, and then it went horizontal. And then I'm like, what the F? And I'm like, no. And then Noah's out, and then E is like, he goes, you said take, and he was like 7 or 8 or something. He goes, take.
Yeah.
You said take what you need the most. So he takes his
His
Game
Game
Gear,
Boy.
his Game Boy, and his parents. Those
I
are the two
remember
things.
that.
They're the two things I need, mommy, are you and dad and the Game Boy. Wait, Game
And
Boy.
game.
And Game Boy. So yeah. And then we were all sitting at the table at some nicer restaurant, and all of a
Hmm.
sudden the water started to shake in the glasses, and the chandelier lighting above started to shake. And we're all looking at it, I'm looking, we're like, no one in there, all the Angelinos, nothing.
Just
Not
sat
a,
there.
they couldn't give a rat's butt. A little shake, a little this. And I'm like, what? It was like, okay.
No, it
Yeah,
was
yeah.
scary.
Well, it's sort of like to me, it's sort of like drive. my experience is like driving on or riding on the D train.
Oh
A D
yeah.
train.
I mean, all of a sudden, we
It
shake a little
rumbles,
bit.
but we're used to that.
Well,
It still shakes. Anyway, so you, Miss
I went out there to
Rusty, when did you
become a
go?
TV. I
To,
went there in 2019, let me
It's
think,
in the 90s, right? 80s,
1987,
80.
80s,
you went to be
1986,
discovered.
87. Well, I had a friend out there, Rick Rand. Remember him, Max?
Oh yeah.
I went out there because he was producing a TV show and he said he had a part for me. So I went out there and they canceled the show the day I arrived.
Of course.
Yeah, they canceled the show. So unfortunately, but I still looked for an apartment. I found an apartment in Toluca Lake, which I like to tell people I lived in Toluca Lake, but if you walk 2 blocks away, I was in Burbank.
Well, so that was
I
towards
was
the
at the
valley.
borders, but it was great. People go, "Where do you live?" Toluca Lake.
Sure.
So all you wanted to say was that you took Sepulveda.
And also that's the only reason I went out there. And I also was getting a divorce. I was separated from my husband. I needed a change. I needed to get out of here. I needed to be by away from people. So I had family out there.
Yes, you
I
did.
had Phil, Mitch, I had Abby, I had
Mm-hmm.
Noah and Josh at the time.
Hmm. Right.
And I
Neely.
just, and Neely and Damien and
And
Ari, which I
right.
ended up being their babysitter a lot. Um, it was great. I loved
Someone
it
had to
because
watch him.
so in in January
how old
you
were you when you
sell
came out here?
flower. I went out here there in 80, so I must have been 31,
Hmm.
yeah, 32. Just
Did you know
before
how
I
to
was
drive?
engaged. No, I just got my license.
Oh
My
God.
fiance at the time, Dennis, who paid for my apartment, who paid for my car, who paid for I went back and forth almost every other weekend to go home. I just got engaged and I did not know how to drive. I just got my license like 3 weeks before. If it wasn't for Maxine's husband, Les, I still wouldn't have been able to drive. Les is the one who really showed me how to drive in your Camry.
Hmm. Right.
And
Are you
Les
sure you didn't
still
go
loves
in
me.
when in 87 or
Yeah,
86? 80.
no, 86, because I was in, no, I got engaged in 80,
You got married in 87,
88.
right?
No, I got married in 88.
88, right? Because all
So it
right,
was 80 at the
E
beginning.
was a year old. Right, right.
Yes.
Okay.
So whenever
Yes.
he was a
So
year
how
old.
come you
Oh,
moved back?
yeah. I was in California and you kept telling me on the phone, I can't eat pasta, I can't eat spaghetti anymore.
That was when I was pregnant.
Yes, you
That
were pregnant with E. So that whenever you were pregnant with E, I was out there. But I only lasted 3 months.
yeah, I know. I was like,
I
you're
just
gonna be
missed
the
him.
godmother. You get back here.
And my fiance kept saying to me, you can't have both. It's too expensive to fly you home because I would go only first class.
Yeah, of course.
So,
So all
so,
Yeah.
right. But
but
I
then,
almost put the kibosh on her because I told him what do. I said you really need to know something
Oh, that
important.
I'll tell you how I
wait a minute. What did you do?
I told him I had to say
worked.
something really important. I'm literally like
We
almost nine
fixed.
months pregnant at that point. And I
We're
said,
seeing at
Dennis,
the water club
so I was
in the
like, we're at
city.
the water club and to see if my water broke at the water club, but it didn't. But it was very close. So yeah, and I told
I
Dennis,
just got
I
back
have, and he got really nervous. It was really funny. Like,
because I
what
went
do
to the
you?
bathroom. We planned this together.
Right, right. I said, he was nervous. He was like,
I know.
what are you saying? What is this that's so important?
What's
You
this
got to
big
tell me.
secret?
Yeah, yeah. And
So,
yeah,
and then I should tell you, and I snuck up behind Dennis and I went like this.
he bit
I
burp.
burped in his ear and he went, and we started cracking up and
I
laughing.
said the big thing was every time she burps, the room shakes. It was all a joke. So we just
But we
scared the
had to
poor
make
guy.
sure he was the right person.
That's right, because he basically said, I don't care. So it was like, like
And then he
Okay.
met your mother, and he
And my
met
mother
Les's
and Gloria.
parents,
Yeah, yeah.
in-laws, Gloria and
We had
Abe,
like
and with
lunch and
champagne
Yep, yep,
at the bar.
yep. It
Yeah.
was
So to
nice.
me, he had to meet my
You had to meet the
other side
parents,
parents, to be
aside
my
from your
family.
mom. Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. But
And
that was
boy,
He had to
very
get approval
fun.
from the Margos.
Well,
well,
Max, he
she didn't get
knows he
approval.
couldn't
The
trust
Margos had to give approval. There was no
No
way
ifs, ands,
around
and
it.
buts about it.
even Phil
Yeah,
and
so
Mitch gave their approval when they met him.
yeah, I mean, so yeah, we had to get, the boys had to give the okay. And so
But I
yeah,
moved out there and I loved it. And yes, every day I'd wake up other days and I'd find my soap or my shampoos on the bathroom floor because I felt a little, it's always rumbling or something there. So this time when we had our earthquake in New Jersey, and everyone go, "Oh my God, did you feel that?" I said, "That's not an earthquake. That's a
Isn't that a
quake.
quake?
That's a quake. That's
well,
nothing."
that's what Noah said because he was in my bathroom fixing my shower. My whole house shook actually, and
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was a twin engine helicopter, a twin blade helicopter. Because sometimes the military helicopters come over and they fly low and everything shakes. But
No,
then
my
it
house.
felt a little weirder than that, and all of a sudden my phone's lighting up. There's an earthquake. And I'm like, you haven't been
My,
into an earthquake unless you were in LA, baby.
That's true.
It's like,
so also when we had the earthquake here, I was in the bedroom with Dennis, and I was going to the closet, and the whole house shook. I mean, it really shook
Mhm.
sideways, back, whatever. And
yeah.
he goes to me, "Oh my God, some of the truck." I said, "No, that's an earthquake." I know what an earthquake feels like. That was definitely an earthquake.
So when you both moved out there, did you even think about earthquakes or
Yeah.
fires?
Well, they
No,
weren't fires back then
If they were,
that
they
I knew
weren't to this
of.
level.
They weren't at this level because we have there's no such thing as global warming or
There's no
global
climate
change.
change.
yeah.
There's
No,
And
none.
now, as a matter of
100
fact,
mile an hour winds is normal. No, it isn't.
It's like at Noah and Laura's wedding. We were had the service outside. We were supposed to have the cocktail party there. Everything was it was like all of a sudden Santa Ana wind started blowing, and
Hmm
we had to move it into the hallway of the
mm
hotel.
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
you're supposed to be having winds in New York, aren't you?
we had last
Yeah.
week. I was walking Miss Diva Sparkles like 3 days. The wind was going 40 to 50 mile gusts, and it was
Hmm.
like in the 20s, which made it feel like 10 or
Yeah,
12.
that cuts right
Yes,
through
It
you.
was,
it does.
I mean, I don't mind the cold generally, neither do you, right?
Oh, I don't
I
mind the
mean,
cold. It's the wind.
I don't mind, I mean, if it hits like zero minus whatever, yeah, but the wind was so strong
Yeah.
and Sparkle's ears were going back, and she turned around to me, and then she held up her paw and went like this.
Hmm.
She said, she said, if you think we're gonna pass our block and go for a longer walk, she
You, cr-
literally
you, cr-
started,
you
you
crazy woman.
crazy, you crazy. So as soon as we got to my block, she took a right and she looked at me and she goes, basically it was like she looked at me like, now you listen to me, woman. Like we're not going any further, and
Mine too. She goes to the bathroom, turns around, and
yeah,
walks right in.
yeah. Bluey,
Well, again,
I took him out, but he doesn't like the cold.
it teaches how teaches us how little control that we have when things like that happen.
Right.
We're just, creatures on the earth.
Yeah,
It's sort of there's nothing you
there-
could do. You have to have,
there's
the earthquake, the earth shakes. Is
no matter
I feel
what
the earth move
people,
under my
yeah,
feet.
no matter what people are saying, and the blame game has started out in LA. And there is, a lot to go through,
there are a lot of things they could have done
but
that hasn't
but there's a
that
lot of
wasn't done.
things. Yes, there are things they could have started knowing that the climate is changing and this is what is coming down the pike. But you
Becoming a
can't. The
desert.
firemen who are, they're saying, oh, you didn't do a good job. Like, what are you talking about? You go out there and try to fight a fire with 100-mile winds. And I don't care where or who you are, it's not going to happen. You can't do it. It's
And
You
no,
can't
no,
blame
impossible.
the firemen. They're there, and you should be grateful they're there. It would
Yeah,
be
yeah,
and
no,
worse
you can't
without
blame the
them.
firemen. You can blame
no,
parts of the
You can blame
administration.
the
The administration,
administration.
I agree.
I mean,
Because
I don't know what
supposedly LA is understaffed.
it's understand.
Uh,
LA is it's like
LA is
it's
one.
clusters of areas. I mean, unlike New York, we have the boroughs, but LA is so spread out. It is the most
Now,
spread
like
out place.
Philadelphia.
It's so spread out that governments can't, like, you need for the locals to talk to one another all the time because it's how do you manage that? There's
Yeah,
so
you
many
have to have the
towns,
state and federal monies coming in.
Well,
You
I
know,
don't think you're going to get federal. I don't think you're going to be getting much
No,
federal. I, I'm as I said on the last show, I said on Many Shades, I said I remember the Daily News when Ford told New York City to drop dead. And I don't know, can you see that?
yeah.
yep, yeah.
Well,
I
I
just
envision seeing something next week that says Trump
dropped
to
down.
LA, drop dead. That's just me. And I wouldn't, they want to put, if you're getting aid, they want to say, well, there's certain things that you must do. Or that I mean, how do you do that when people are suffering at a level they have no homes, the whole house goes
Yeah.
up.
I
They're
mean, you have tens of thousands of people. It's not like you have,
Yeah,
a certain one area.
right.
I know.
It's
And I
I
feel
mean,
bad for the people, the middle class and the low.
yeah.
They're not the big stars that lost their house who
No.
have money to rebuild immediately. These people are going to be waiting for insurance money. They're
That
going
they're
to
probably
wait
not
for
gonna
the
and
homes.
that's another thing.
They're not getting the
Yeah.
insurance.
Well, again,
Insurance,
People are
it's
not
not even
paying.
rebuilt housing. It's all the properties that you have in the house. I'm
Yeah.
looking at the furniture, the TVs, the beds, the bureaus, the
well, it's all
couches.
gone.
Yeah,
Things that have
it's
been
all
left.
gone. Aside from, again, the pictures I could take out and the documents I could take out,
The
but I can't
chimneys, a
carry
lot
out
of
my
chimney,
couch.
the chimneys survived. They're brick. So the chimneys are all there. And somebody who went, they were going past some of the houses and one person said, "Oh, someone's washer dryer survived." Because
Mhm.
they're aluminum is metal.
Yeah.
Depending how hot the burn was,
Well,
they escape damage. But you're seeing cars that are just totally
melting.
melting, and how I don't know, and all these synagogues and temples
Synagogues and
and
churches, they're down to the
churches
ground.
and
Churches.
mosques and
And,
everything
and
that
where do
went
you
down.
go?
And
There's
these beautiful
schools and
schools.
banks and restaurants, small businesses. I mean, I don't know how these people, I don't know how they're going to do it. This is
But
not
what
going to
they do with the
happen.
banks, the people who put money in their pockets and they run out.
Well, most people don't. Most people don't use. They use credit cards and cash card.
Yeah.
Cards. But yeah, the banks are not there. If you wanted to get cash, I mean, there you have to go. I don't know where people are going. I just don't know. There's no
No
reports
place to
as
go
to
to grocery store. No grocery
know.
stores. There's
Yeah,
Well,
well,
nothing.
no, you're done. It's like a bomb went off.
well,
It's
but it's
equivalent
like a
to
bomb
like a
went off in
bomb
all these
dropping.
areas. It's not
Well, it's all
the
these
thing.
separate areas.
It's not only
Well,
one area. You could like even
it's
if it was
the two most affected. The two worst are the Pacific Palisades and the
Palisade,
Eaton, which is the Altadena, which is next to Pasadena,
Pasadena.
you know.
and that's a more middle class, more
Hmm.
and blue collar area. These people have these homes. They finally got a home and they're living. And people are also there for years. This is their place. This is their love. This is where they plant their little, gardens and go out and relax and go to their
Well, you read a
neighborhood.
lot of the homes that people live there as children,
Yeah, yeah,
and they got married, and they're
yeah.
still living there.
I mean, the
The parents have
stories that are
passed
going to come
away.
out of this are going to be incredible.
I mean,
And yeah,
you have Billy Crystal, who I'm
yeah,
not
Billy.
sorry for as far as money goes, but he's been living there 46 years of his marriage there. His kids
Yeah,
were raised there.
yeah, he said his
And it's
kids
sad.
and all the events of his life
And
were
Mel
there.
Gibson's house was destroyed.
Well,
Yeah.
there's
I
no
mean,
climate
so
change.
this no, but um, it's a bit-
Do we? I better say nothing.
Yeah, to say
And
nothing.
I'm going to say nothing, but the fact that they say it's not climate change, and then their house goes goodbye. Oh, no, it was just fire. I was like, welcome to hell, MF.
Yeah, well,
Okay.
there's never been winds like this at this time of the year. There have been forest fires. I've lived here with fires, which maybe come up like once every year, once every 2 years.
I
But they're
was
limited to a certain area.
I was when I was in Beverly, I was in California in 2017.
Hmm.
Not a good time for us or me and you,
Yeah.
for so many reasons. But there
Hmm.
was three fires going on at the same time.
Yes,
You
there
just
was.
left. You
But I
didn't really get
saw
to
we were
run.
driving on that highway to the funeral and we saw the smoke.
Right.
I'll never
Well,
forget that.
when I was there, the um the smoke was so bad that you really couldn't see, like driving you couldn't see.
Yeah,
And I was the 405 one where the exits were. There were flames on either side of the freeway.
Mm,
It looked like it was a digitally done by a movie
by
company, but
Hollywood.
it was real. This is not, oh, this
Mm,
is not even real. And then they put up that the Hollywood sign was in flames, and it wasn't. And
it
because there's
wasn't.
misinformation going on by some people, groups of people, and the misinformation is making it worse. And so I don't know. I mean,
But one of the
but
reasons I love California, because in January, when we used to go out there in January, you smell flowers.
right, it was
It
warm.
was just,
it was
it
green all year.
No,
smells,
we would go to
smells.
yeah, we would go to Palm Springs because Phil had
Yes,
a condo
yes, I have
there.
a condo
But,
there.
Yeah,
even
we
though it
went
was
pewter shopping.
the last few years I lived in Manhattan, as I say, I lived on 90th and Central Park West.
That's great.
I was like t 10 steps away from the park because there was an entrance into Central Park there because they that's where the 90th Street is where the horses went down from the
Right.
stable. So I would wake up in the morning with the clippity clip of the horses.
That's
Yeah.
nice, though.
And,
I
and
wake
when
up
I
for
got
the
home
D
from work, I
train.
got into my jogging things and I went into the Central Park Reservoir. And all
Yeah.
year round, it was not green, but all year round there were trees around and grass
Yeah, no,
around,
because
and
it's beautiful.
it
I mean,
was
But
it's the night.
unfortunately, California is going to end up like a desert.
Well, it is
It's
a
going to end.
desert.
No, I'm saying it's going to end up where they can't build there anymore.
Right.
And they're ruining the
Yeah.
ecostructure of
Y-
Vegas by
y-
planting all those palm trees and the greenery that should not be there.
yeah.
They have to
People are
put,
changing our climate by putting things where they don't
well, you
belong.
have to have native plants.
Yes. And they're not
And those are would be, I'll use the word succulents, you
Secular.
succulents.
know?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And things that
Ooh,
are native to
tequila.
that, there are
Tequila.
native things in the deserts. There are native plantings in the desert.
Yes.
Uh
But
and
not
if
palm trees.
No,
generally not palm trees. I don't think palm trees are, unless there's a
And not
certain
even
species.
indigenous. Palm trees are not even indigenous to California.
they're not.
No.
But you know
Believe
what
it or
you
not,
know
palm
what is?
trees, what? Pewter.
Anyway, guys,
We'll talk about that next time.
and anyway, guys,
We have stories we didn't even get to. I
uh,
mean, we have to continue our California story. It's gonna have to be California month because we love California. We love
if we're going to
everyone
do a
there.
show next week, if I'm still here and the studio is still in
You're
We
doing it
will be
anyway. You're gonna
there.
do it
it
from the
will be.
road. Bring your laptop. You'll just have to do it somewhere else. You'll do it from the road.
But
You'll be
again,
fine.
the problem is there are so
Poo, poo,
many
poo.
fires you don't know where to go.
Yeah, what do they say about that quickly? Did they give you like where to evacuate to? Is there any
Yeah, well,
information
they
as
give you
if
an
you leave, where
evacuation.
do you go? I mean,
They give you they have places. Let's say over here, if it would well, not even here. The people that in Brentwood,
mhm.
one of
Mhm.
the evacuation points is like 3 blocks away from me.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh,
It's
wow.
Sherman Oaks
So you're
Park.
an evacuation point to go to.
Right. But if I'm an evacuation point, it means that I don't have to evacuate because if I had to evacuate, that's not the point because that would be that
Yeah,
would
that's
be
right.
endangered.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so so far so
So
you're
far, so
okay.
good, and hopefully, I think
Yeah.
today is the last day of supposedly the well now I think they extended it into Thursday.
The winds are going to be
The
another
winds.
Wins.
day. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's we've been
Well,
getting winds here too, so
yeah.
Yeah. Same here.
uh
Not
So
as bad
hopefully,
as you because you're
not
closer
like
to the coast.
as I said,
I'm
right.
no. I'm
yeah,
west. I'm
Yeah,
West Jersey.
I'm
you
kind of I'm on
just
the west side of
and
Westchester.
and you can't cut all the foliage by your house. I don't know about because
I
I
have a lot of foliage by me, and I have
Me, I
some
have
on the
two
golf
acres of
course,
trees. What are you talking about?
and I have trees. The
I mean,
only I had a really beautiful tree, and the view is okay now because of a tornado. I have one of the best views in Crystal Springs.
do you have your roofs fireproof or fire retardant?
you
No, they're
should find
just
out.
retarded. No, I meant no. But we will. We're getting all new roofs in my
Right, get
community,
them fire
so they will
retardant because
be. We are.
that's where the
We're
embers fall in the
using.
tr houses.
Yeah,
Yeah, that we
I don't
know.
know.
Anyway, guys, keep in touch.
All right. Anyway,
No, you
Hopefully I'll
keep
see
in
you next
touch.
Tuesday.
you keep in touch with us so we know
Yes,
you're
Did you ever
please.
find
okay.
out what was wrong with your phone on a personal level? No.
Mine?
Yeah, that I
Oh,
couldn't get you. They kept
I
on.
don't know because everyone who called me was able to get me except you.
Did you block him, Maxine?
I
Tell him
think
the
you blocked
truth.
me.
Why would I block you?
Tell him the truth.
All right. I
That,
will go into my contacts to make sure, but
that's what Anna said. She's blocking you. I said, I didn't do anything wrong.
I didn't I would
I
never
picked up
block
right
you.
away, Malcolm.
I did not block you,
Right, I called
Malcolm.
up Paul and she picked up on the first ring. Hi, Malcolm.
I did not block you. Unless my phone blocked you, I don't know. I personally didn't block you.
Because I've been trying for 2 days to call you, and Paula, you said that she's been having problems with the phone.
You had problems with the ringtone, so maybe she didn't hear you. That's why, because I was calling her to see if it worked. That was on Friday, right?
Max, do me a favor. You have a home phone, right? Could you just text me your number?
I gave you
Oh,
that. I did not
I know you
block
gave it
you.
to me, but all I have is your cell
oh
number.
my God, she has a landline. Oi.
Anyway,
What are you
guys,
doing? All
send me
right.
your line.
All
Send
right.
me Les's line.
Peace out, man.
Okay.
Emergency, I call Paula.
Yes, call her.
I
Bye.
always pick up.
Stay safe.
Shalom.
Ciao.
Bye.
Peace
Nay.
out. Safety
Peace
to
out.
everyone in LA. Prayers out.